Rejoice, don't resent. Few things test our character as much as traffic. It challenges our patience, generosity, forgiveness, humility. The way we drive often reveals our faults. Selfishness, stubbornness, greed, anger, bad language. Here is a subtle fault of mine which you might share. When I'm driving along the freeway, just a bit over the speed limit, I'm happy when somebody else passes me even faster. And I think to myself, good, if the police stop anyone, it'll be that crazy nut. And I enjoy a moment of righteous superiority above such irresponsible drivers. In today's gospel, Christ reminds the Israelites of a similar weakness. They took comfort in the failings of others. They gloated when God punished other people for doing wrong. They were unhappy when the pagans lived virtuous lives. And they resented God doing good things for them. Christ reminded them that it was a pagan, a woman, a foreigner, whose prayer was answered through Elijah, and a Syrian leper, not an Israelite, who was cleansed by Elisha. They were so angry over this that they tried to kill Jesus Christ. They were jealous when foreigners were virtuous and God blessed them. The classic Old Testament example of this weakness is the prophet Jonah. God asked Jonah to preach to the Ninevites, but Jonah did not want to. He did not want such people to reform. He had a racist attitude towards them, and he did not like them. He did not want them to be saved. God had to take Jonah to Nineveh in a whale. When Jonah reluctantly preached to the Ninevites, they did repent, and God forgave them. Jonah was unhappy about their conversion. He pouted and he sulked. So God reminded Jonah that he should be as God is, slow to anger, rich in mercy, quick to forgive, and reluctant to punish. In today's second reading, St. Paul expressed this as a test of love. Love does not rejoice over wrongdoing. Love rejoices with the truth. The lesser virtue of another does not make my virtue greater. Virtue is not measured by comparison with others. And the goodness of others is not a threat to my virtue. Too often we, as the ancient Israelites, are threatened by virtuous people. At times, we take an unholy comfort in the failings of others. We might never say so explicitly, but we can harbor such thoughts quietly, as when a reckless speeder passes us on the freeway. For example, some might complain that their neighbor does not keep their property neat, is not friendly, or doesn't help others. But do you really want him to change? Or do you take comfort that his failings distract from your own faults? Or a husband will complain that his wife always finds faults? A wife objects that her husband doesn't listen. But do you really want your spouse to change? If your spouse changes, then you might have to change. No longer will your spouse's fault be ammunition for your defense. Or a family might complain that the in-laws are meddling gossips. The mother-in-law and the father-in-law should mind their own business. But do you really want them to change? If they change, you could no longer take comfort that their indiscretions overshadow your own petty gossip. We have similar scenarios among the clergy. When someone complains that a neighbouring priest gave such a boring sermon, the rest of us take comfort that our own mediocrity might look better by comparison. The faults of others can have a deceptive solace. We can pretend that they lower the bar for the rest of us. Today's readings remind us that virtue is not determined by comparison with another. The failings of others do not make our own character more noble. The goodness of another is not a threat to my virtue. It should be a guiding light to better my own life. St. Paul saw this as a measure of genuine love. Love does not rejoice over wrongdoing. Love rejoices with the truth. And the truth is that we should all obey the speed limit.